Hey everybody, welcome to today's Facebook Live. If you are here, please leave me a comment and let me know that you are seeing and hearing this video okay. I know that I set it up, I think, to go live kind of in a different video window, and I can't figure out how to make that work. So I'm hoping if you're online right now, you're waiting for this video to come on, that you can see this. So do please leave me a like or a comment and let me know that you're here. I do see some folks, so that is awesome. I'm just going to give us a few more minutes to kind of jump on. Hey Heath, it's really nice to see you. Heath I know in real life, so that's always fun on Facebook. I am broadcasting live from the state of Texas, where it is literally about 110 degrees. Definitely warmer than this Canadian is used to. I'm kind of enjoying it, not gonna lie. And there's lots of air conditioning to go around. All right, I'm just going to want to leave this a couple more minutes because I know that there are other folks trying to get on, and I don't want to jump start too quickly on you. Let me see if I can see some things if I kind of jump around on my computer here. Okay, I can see there's a few more people watching, so that is great. Good stuff. I know there's a bit of a lag also. If you comment, I may not see it real quickly. So we want to make sure that you're seeing this okay. All right, well, I apologize if there's any mix-up between the scheduled video that I put up and this one right now, but I'm hoping that everybody will be able to find this one in time and get some good stuff out of it. And I'm going to also send a recording of this video out to my whole email list. So if you couldn't make it live, or if you missed the beginning or whatever, don't worry about it. You're going to see what we have to talk about. So what I want to share with you today is about launching an author business online, which sounds like a big, scary endeavor, but it really doesn't have to be. And I want to kind of start by sharing some of who I am, what I've managed to do in the last few years as an author, most of which has really blown me away, been far beyond what my expectations were. And there's been a lot of, obviously, ups and downs and roller coaster ride, and I've made some big mistakes and I've learned some stuff, but I hope that that helps me to have more that's valuable to offer you. I don't want to build a pipe dream for you, but I do want you to understand what's possible, what you can do as you are pursuing God's calling on your life as an author. So if you don't know me, or you're not real familiar with what I've done, my name is Rachel Starr Thompson. I am a blogger and an author of books. I write both fiction and nonfiction. Always my kind of overarching topic is the kingdom of God, Christian spirituality. I'm really passionate about helping people connect with God on a deeper level, intellectually and spiritually, personally, emotionally, all of those pieces. And I see both fiction and nonfiction as being very powerful tools to make that happen. So I write a blog over at my website. It's rachelstarrthompson.com. You can check that out. It's Rachel with an E-L and Star with 2 R's and Thompson with no P, just to make sure that no one will ever spell it right the first time. But I'm not too hard to find. And actually, I'll just drop my website into a comment for you here. There we go. If you'd like to check that out, you can, and I would love to connect with you over there as well. I have over 30 books published on the Amazon website and other retailers worldwide. I've sold books all over the world. I have had multiple books in #1 spots on Amazon in the categories of Christian spiritual growth, of Pentecostal and charismatic spirituality, of Christian fantasy, which is my primary fiction genre, and other categories. And I've actually been among Amazon's top 200 best-selling authors in the entire religion and spirituality category, which is pretty cool. Definitely didn't imagine getting up there, that I could be among those top 200 authors. It definitely was not always like this. Like most authors, for a lot of years, I wrote and I was really the only person who saw it. Or I might send it out to a little handful of people, to friends and family. But for the most part, all of my stuff just was on my hard drive, collecting digital dust, or in the early days, actually printed out and under my bed, collecting literal dust, usually in a binder. And I told myself for years, I told myself that my writing wasn't that important. I told myself that it wasn't serving God, because serving God should mean kind of more one-to-one stuff with people. I had a very narrow view of what it meant to serve God. And I also told myself that I just didn't market. I didn't want to market my work. I didn't want to do it. And I felt like I shouldn't have to. I should just be able to, just to write and maybe put it out there on Amazon or whatever, publish it, and just have that be it. I really didn't want to handle the marketing side of things. I just want to say some hellos. Hi, Kelly from Oklahoma and Kristen from Washington. I'm so glad that you're here, and thanks for leaving those comments. Lives are fun because there's real people on the other end, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, kind of going back to where I was at just a few years ago, really just 2 or 3 years ago. I had all of these books I'd written, over 20 books, because I just write like a maniac. I've been doing that since I was a teenager, and I just wasn't taking it seriously or putting it out into the world. So you might wonder what changed, and I have in my notes that I realized 2 things, but I actually realized 3 things. The first thing I realized was that writing truly did matter, that it could have a real impact on people, that it was a gift given to me, designed into me by God, and that I was really responsible to steward it. And that if I would do that, if I would steward it, God would use it. And he has been very faithful to do that. And hey, Kit, oh yay, I'm so glad you're on here. I also know Kit in real life and haven't seen her in a long time. And Karen, I'm glad you found the video. Thanks for being here. And Sarah Ann from California, this is a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody leaving comments. And if I miss you or I don't get to shout out your name, I apologize. I'm really glad you're here. So yeah, the number one thing I realized was that my writing mattered and that it was important for me to get it out in the world. And the second thing I realized was that writing is a business and marketing matters. Writing is a business, and writers don't like to think that. Writers, we like to think that we are artists, which we are, and that we're kind of, some of us like to think we are special snowflakes that way. You know, we really don't want to get our hands dirty. We just want to make stuff. We want to tell stories. We want to have fun. We don't want to have to sell anything. And what I recognized was that writing is a business. When you're writing a book, you are creating a piece of art and you are doing something that's fun, but you are also creating a product. And in order for people to access that product, which will allow it to make a difference in anyone's life, if people can't access what you're writing, then your writing is not going to make a difference for them. So whether you want to give it away for free or whether you want to sell it, it's the same thing. You're going to have to market it. Marketing, in the most simple terms possible, simply means to take a product and bring it to market. In other words, bring it to people who want it and who would benefit from it. And when you view it that way, you can see that marketing really is a service to people. Marketing can even be ministry. And yes, it can open the door to make you money, and that is a good thing. It's a good principle in scripture that Paul actually quoted from the Old Testament: don't muzzle the ox that treads out the corn. It's a principle in scripture that those who do work should benefit and live by that work, and that applies to your writing as much as it applies to anything else. So there is no shame in marketing, in selling your work and making money from it. That is a good and blessed thing. But your marketing can be ministry, as you are taking this valuable thing you're creating and you're making sure that people have access to it. So that's the second thing I realized, and I'm just going to give some more shout outs here. Hi, Nancy. Aw. Okay, Nancy, I have actually been thinking of you and your husband probably every week since you emailed me, and I've been praying for you, and I'm really, really glad to hear from you again. Thank you for that update, and I hope that your husband's doing really well. And hello to Mark, and hello to Renee from Oregon, and Mark's in Atlanta. This is a lot of fun. I wave back at you, Renee. Okay, so the third thing that I realized after realizing that writing was important and a gift from God, after realizing that writing was a business and that marketing was a good thing, I realized, and I did not come to this aha moment on my own, I learned this from other people online, but you only need one thing in order to have a thriving business as a writer. And again, let me step back. What I'm saying is, if you are a writer and you want your work to reach somebody, if you are a writer and you want people to read what you do, if you are a writer and you want your books, Nancy, I'm gonna use your story. Nancy emailed me a couple of months ago that she and her husband were in the hospital. He was waiting for a kidney transplant, and that they were reading one of my books, Coming Day, which is the third book in the Seventh World Trilogy, and that they were being encouraged and uplifted by the depiction of God in that story, and that it was helping them, helping to carry them through that difficult time. I am like so humbled and blown away by that God can use my work that way. That is incredible. And I'm going to say hi to my dad. JL Music Man is my dad, and he just joined in. It's nice to see you, Dad. So if you want your writing to reach people and make a difference in a way that goes beyond you, okay, that's what it means to have an author business. That's what it means to market your work. I'll pull my notes back up. And if you want to have a thriving author business, you only need one thing, and that one thing is you need an audience. You need people who will buy your work. You need people who will read your work. You need people who will leave you reviews. You need people who will tell their friends. You need people who will enter into your work with you and benefit from it and enjoy it. And that's all you need. You need an audience. The best way to build an audience, this is where we're really getting into the business tips here. The best way to build an audience, especially online, but this has always been true, I think, is to give something away. So that right there really changed my picture of marketing, because if you think that marketing means constantly pushing people to buy something from you and getting up in the face of strangers and trying to sell them stuff, which can be intimidating, especially when we just get started, it's a whole other ball game if instead you think about giving something away. If instead you think about giving people something that's valuable and beneficial. And Mark just jumped in there and said, are you working on a sequel to Seeds? Yes, in my head, I am. The writing hasn't started yet, but that's, Lord willing, that's going to be the next thing I really get going on, because I'm eager to write it. And thank you for checking in with me on that. The best way to build an audience is to give something away. So I'm a big Marvel geek. I love the Marvel movies. Anybody who knows me knows that. I'm actually probably going to write a book about the Marvel movies as a spiritual allegory, along with a friend of mine. And but why? Why do I love Marvel? Why am I invested in those characters? And the reason is that when I was a kid, I watched the X-Men animated series on TV for free. And also because my dad had a stack of comic books, and I read those for free. And so I became a lifelong member of Marvel's audience, and I pay money to go see their movies whenever they come out. I paid money to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp a few days ago, and I really enjoyed it, by the way. Actually, I should say my brother-in-law paid money for me to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, so thanks, Kevin. Why do I buy books from my favorite authors? How do I even know who they are? In many cases, it's because I discovered their books at the library. Why do you buy fried food you don't need at Costco in big bags? Well, usually because somebody's there giving free samples. So pretty simple principle. The best way to build an audience is to begin by giving something away. Now, you don't give everything away. Obviously, if you do that, you're not going to be able to make any money, and it builds the wrong expectations into your relationship with your audience. But you want to demonstrate that you write things that they're going to like, that what you write is something they will benefit from. And if that's not the case, you want them to leave your audience anyway. You don't want people trying to follow you who aren't going to like what you do, who are going to leave you bad reviews and badmouth everything you're doing. Those people are not beneficial to you to be in relationship with, or vice versa. So the best way to build an audience online is to demonstrate that you do something that people will enjoy and appreciate. So that brings us to my 8 steps to launching a thriving author business. Because when you find a way to reliably and easily build an audience, you can build a thriving author business. I did this myself in the space of about 2 years. I went from, manuscript files on my computer that sold nothing because nobody knew about them. Nobody ever read them. They made no difference in the world whatsoever, to selling books, to reaching that top 200 religion authors on Amazon. I built an audience of nearly 30,000 people, and everything changed for me. I became actually a professional writer. And when I tell people about how to do it, you can kind of see that people's heads start to spin, and there's a lot of small kind of moving pieces. But really and truly, you can do this. You can build this kind of audience-based author business in just 8 steps. So I want to share with you how to do that. If you are a writer and you want to have any kind of reach, any kind of success long-term, this is really important for you to consider. And if you know a writer, especially if you know anyone who has books out there and they're frustrated because they can't seem to sell anything or get any traction, which is such a common story, or if you or someone you know is overwhelmed because there just seems to be so much to do, right? I need to tweet, and I need to get on Facebook, and I need to make a book trailer, and I need to, all this stuff. I'm hopeful that these 8 steps are going to really help clarify and crystallize things for you. Now, in this video, I'm going to be giving you a very high-level overview. There's a lot more detail involved, but I've actually written out most of that detail in a PDF, which I give away to students in my writer mentorship program. They are the only people who have access to it. I created it just for them in response to difficulties they were having and questions they were asking. But I want to give it away to you as well. So I'm going to drop a link in a comment, and I will also copy this into the video description later. So here comes the link. And hey, Debbie, nice to see you. All right, so the link is there for the 8 steps checklist. So you can go to that link, enter your email address, and you will get access to a PDF giving you a lot more detail on what I'm about to teach. And you're very welcome, Kristen. Okay. So now I'm going to switch notes here so that I can walk you through the 8 steps without forgetting anything. Okay. All right, 8 steps. Basically, you have 5 steps to set up a foundation or a platform for building an audience by giving something away. And once you've done those 5 steps, then you have 3 modes of outreach, 3 platforms for outreach. So you put those things together, 5 steps for a foundation and 3 modes of outreach, and you've got 8 steps. And if you can get these 8 things into place, you will be able to build a thriving, long-term business as an author. You will be able to automate a lot of it. So it isn't that you have to get in there and do all of these things every day and be overwhelmed with how much work there is to do. Much of this, you can set it up one time and then you never have to do it again, or you go back and revisit it once every 6 or 12 months or something like that. So this is very doable. This isn't difficult. There are some tech pieces involved. Please don't be totally overwhelmed by that. I know that tech can seem very scary, initially. But these days, really and truly, developers are making it easier and easier for ordinary, normal people like you and me. I am not a tech expert by any means. I've learned how to do all of this stuff painstakingly, and at this point I can do most of it pretty easily because I've done it so many times before. But I started right where you are. I started not knowing how to do it. But more and more app developers and people serving the author community are making this easier and easier for us to do. And the tech steps are going to be outlined in a lot of detail in that PDF, so I hope that you will grab it. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, where did they go? I just lost my notes. If you needed proof that I'm not a tech expert, I'm having trouble keeping track of my notes. Okay, here they are. Action number 1 to create your foundation. You need to choose an email service provider. So here's something to remember. Online, an audience equals an email list. If you don't have an email list, you don't really have an audience. Even if you have a huge social media following, even if there are 2,000 people following you on Facebook or on Instagram. The reason I say this is because Facebook's actually a great example. You don't own those platforms. You have no control over your reach to the people on those platforms. So it used to be that on an author page like this one on Facebook, if I would post, the post would be seen by pretty much all of the 6,500 people, give or take a few, who follow me on Facebook. But these days, if I post, that post is only seen by 300, or sometimes if it's doing crazy well, 1,000 or 2,000 of those 6,500 people. The change is because of Facebook's algorithms. I have no control over it. And if Facebook was to shut down tomorrow, I could not reach a single one of those people. The same with Amazon. I can have 2,000 people download one of my books on Amazon, but I don't know who they are. I can't reach them. I can't send them an email to let them know that I have a new book coming out. I can't ask them questions about what they would like for me to do next. They're not going to be in here asking me, like Mark did, am I working on the sequel to Seeds? Unless I build an email list so that I can contact my audience directly and they can contact me directly, I don't really have an audience. So the first thing you need to do is choose an email service provider so that you can start building that list. Because to clarify, building an email list does not mean that you have a bunch of people's email addresses and then you personally email each one of them through Gmail or Hotmail or something. If you do that, your email account will get shut down pretty quickly, because those personal email addresses are not meant to handle the kind of traffic that an actual audience represents. So you need a service to handle them for you. A very popular one is MailChimp, and you can start with MailChimp for free. They are free until you're over 1,000 subscribers. The one I actually recommend is not free. It starts at $29 a month. It was called ConvertKit. They just changed their name. It's now called Seva, but I would strongly, strongly recommend using Seva because they have a beautiful, very intuitive, easy to use interface, and their people are great and super helpful, and they're pretty affordable. But if you need to really, really be keeping your budget tight, MailChimp is a good option to start. And in the future, if you want to, you can always switch over. That's not difficult to do. I'm going to just grab a link for you quickly. If you'd like to check out Seva, I'm going to give you my affiliate link. I am an affiliate for them because I use them and believe in them strongly, as anyone can tell you if they have followed me. Here we go. Seva is spelled S-E-V-A, and I just entered the affiliate link, and it still says ConvertKit, but that's the link, so you can check that out if you're interested. Highly recommend them. Opening an account with ConvertKit is really the first thing that I ever did that signaled to myself that I was serious about this author business, and it is the one online program that if I had to close everything else down, I would keep it. It's that good. So I really recommend that you check that out. So number one, choose your email service provider. And I would recommend you either go with ConvertKit/Seva, or you go with MailChimp if you need to keep it cheap. There are other options. You can use Constant Contact. I think there's one called Drip. There's Infusionsoft if you want to go insane and pay far too much money. But ConvertKit and MailChimp are really good options for authors. So that's my recommendation. Okay, so that's the first part in building your foundation. Secondly, I keep losing these notes. Here we go. You guys are so patient. All right. Secondly, you need to choose something to give away. So this is your freebie, your incentive. There are people who teach how to do this who call it an ethical bribe, and I really hate that wording, so I don't use it. I call it an incentive. But basically, you need to have something that you're going to give people. So that might be a novella, might be a short story. It should be a piece of your writing, because what you're trying to do is attract people to your writing, and the best way to demonstrate that people will enjoy your writing is to give them some of it. I would avoid giving away just a free chapter or something like that, because that feels more like bait, right? It doesn't, getting one chapter of a book, if it's fiction, doesn't feel like a high value offer. It doesn't really feel like you're being given something. Now, if it's nonfiction, then your chapter in and of itself teaches something really helpful, that's different. But for fiction, I would recommend that you give a whole novel, a whole novella, a whole short story. I give away several entire novels. It has absolutely been worth it to do that. And there are people who freak out and say, yeah, but what if somebody steals it? Or what if, I should be getting paid for that? I worked so hard on it. And here is a principle of author business in the online worlds. Piracy is not your enemy, obscurity is. The more people who get access to your work and learn who you are and learn that they like it, the better. So give stuff away for free. It's really valuable. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose something to give away and create it. So that might just be taking a Word doc and making it into a PDF, for example. Okay, so action 3 is you're going to set up your first form and landing page. So I know I just lost half of you, but this isn't too complicated. And if you walk through the PDF, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. When you go into your email service provider, ConvertKit or MailChimp, they're going to give you options to set up subscriber forms and or landing pages. So you're going to set these up. And basically all this is it's that type of page online where you go and there's a space for you to put in your email address. And when you do that, you go onto the person's email list and they send you whatever it is that they were offering you. For example, I made a landing page to give away the 8 Steps PDF. I did it in about 3 minutes right before I jumped onto this Facebook Live. Actually, that's why I was a little bit late, getting on a minute or 2 late. So please forgive me for that. But that was a landing page. I made it in ConvertKit/Seva. It just took me a couple of minutes. So you're going to set that up. You need that so that you can give away your free thing automatically, so that you don't have to get into your email and be individually sending people stuff. You don't want to do that. That's a nightmare as you're scaling your audience up. You want it to go out just automatically. So you set it up to do that. And that's action number 3. Action number 4, actually I just kind of gave it away. Action number 4 is just set up your giveaway so that it delivers automatically. Again, you can do this pretty easily in MailChimp and or in ConvertKit. Basically, you're just going to put your freebie in there, and those services are going to deliver it automatically as soon as somebody signs up to get them. Again, the PDF is going to give you a lot more detail on how to do this. And then action 5, you are going to connect your form or your landing page to your giveaway to make sure that that all works properly. So I broke that down into 3 different steps at the end there because people can get a little confused about it. That's your 5 steps to set up your foundation. So very easy. And again, I'm just going to run through and review them. You're going to choose an email service provider. You're going to choose and create an incentive, something to give away. Good chance you've already written this. You just need to pick what it is and decide to give it away and put it into whatever format you're going to give it away in. Third, you're going to set up your first form or landing page so that people can sign up. Then you're going to set up your giveaway so that it delivers automatically. And then you're going to connect your forms and your giveaway so that everything is working. Really pretty easy. This is the foundation for your entire author business. So notice I didn't say get on Twitter and tweet people 15,000 times a day and tell them to buy your book. And I didn't say start a YouTube channel and spend hours and hours and hours making book trailers for your books. Just pick something you've written, decide to give it away, set up the tech to give it away, and you're good. That's your entire foundation. And from now on, every time you do something online, you want to be giving that thing away. So if you're on Facebook, you can write a post and say, hey, I have a free book. Here's the link, and you're going to just link to your landing page or your form, and you're going to give it away. You can put ads inside your Amazon books so that people can get your free stuff. And again, they get on your email list and you give stuff away. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Once you've set up that foundation, you are ready to do everything else that you need to do to build your audience. So that was 5 steps, okay? And this is exactly how I built an audience of more than 30,000 people, and I have sold over $80,000 worth of writing-related products, mostly books, but also some courses and services in the last 2 years using this exact foundation. Nothing fancier, nothing more complicated. I just set stuff up to give away for free, created a form, linked it to an email management service, and I have the foundation for a thriving business. The last 3 steps are a little more in-depth, but they are where you actually get into building your audience. So now that your foundation is in place, now you're going to build your audience. And you do that through using 3 platforms. Number 1 is your website. Set up your website so that it is focused on getting people onto your email list. So you can do this through using some different plugins, using some different, let me just look at my notes here. Primarily through using plugins. Again, go into that PDF, it's going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. But set your website up so that its emphasis is on giving something away, getting people on your email list. You can check out my website to see an example of that. Platform number 1 is your website. Platform number 2 is actually the Amazon store. So Amazon is kind of the big deal when it comes to creating an author career online these days. Amazon gets something like 80% of the book sales in the entire world. So there are authors who build their whole career just inside the Amazon store. I'm not one of them. I do sell in other places and I have reasons for doing that. But you need to master Amazon if you want to be a successful author these days. And again, building an audience through Amazon isn't hard. You do it exactly using the foundation that we just talked about. So basically, you're going to publish a book on Amazon. You can use a free one if you want, or make it cheap and then put an ad in the front for your giveaway so that people click it, they go to your form or landing page, and they get on your email list. And it's that simple. Not everybody will, but a high percentage of people will. So now you go from you're selling books on Amazon to total strangers, and you can't ever reach them again, to you're selling books on Amazon, and then you're forming an ongoing relationship with many of those people as they join your audience. Amazon is an extremely powerful platform to build your author career. Platform number 3 is Facebook. Now, I've kind of been downplaying the role of social media, and that's on purpose. I really don't think that as an author, you need to focus much on social media. But you do need a Facebook page, and the reason for this is because Facebook advertising, so actually buying ads on Facebook, is the most powerful way to build an audience I have ever seen. Now, there's different ways to do this, but I do it by tying right back into that foundation. So I run ads, not for things I'm trying to sell, because I don't really want to try to sell stuff to strangers. I run ads for things that I'm giving away. So again, my ads simply link back to my form or my landing page that I set up with my email management service. People give me their email address, they get a free book from me, and then I can build an ongoing relationship with them going forward. Facebook alone took my email list from about 2,000 people, which I had built up fairly slowly and laboriously over a year, and multiplied that to over 30,000 people within a matter of months. Now, I spent a lot of money to do that, but I did actually make back more than what I spent. So it worked out. Buyer beware with Facebook ads. You need to learn what you're doing before you just jump in there, because it's very easy to lose money. But it can be done, and it can absolutely catapult your author business into another dimension. It's really, really powerful. So that's it. 5 steps to set up a good foundation, and then use 3 platforms to start building your audience. You do it so that it happens automatically. You don't have to be in there doing stuff every day. And then once people are on your email list, you use that list to build a relationship with them and to point people to the stuff you have for sale, and you start making money, which is how I have made $80,000 in under 2 years from my writing related stuff, my books, an occasional course, or other things. I hope that this has been eye-opening. I know it has been a lot of information. You can come back and watch this video again, and I am going to send out a recording. But if you watch this and check out the PDF, you can really get started building a thriving author business today. So that pretty much covers what I had to share with you, and I'm going to open this up for questions at this point. Hey, O'Shea, good to see you. This is someone else I've known for a long time. It's always fun to see who's going to jump onto a Facebook Live. While I'm waiting for questions to come in, because there is going to be a delay, I want to tell you about one other service that I have on offer right now, which is my writer mentorship program. So I launched this earlier this year. And like I said, this whole 8 steps idea came out of that group because members of it were letting me know what they were struggling with. And so I was able to create the PDF and create this whole training based on that. Oh, and Kristen has a question. Recognize this is off topic, but could you touch on or discuss about preferred payment methods for those still needing to earn income through copywriting or editing? I'm actually not sure what you mean by payment methods, Kristen. Can you clarify that for me? I'm happy to answer the question. So I'm going to wait for that. And then I should stop distracting myself and finish telling you about the program. So I opened the writer mentorship program earlier this year because I have a lot that I have learned in the last 2 years, and I really want to share it. I got very involved with the idea that writers, not just me, but writers could be expanding their reach, could be doing so much more, could be more powerful voices in our culture than what they are, because most writers just don't know what to do. And I see writers all the time in groups and elsewhere around the internet, and it's like they're just kind of doing this scattershot method of marketing and exhausting themselves and not knowing why it isn't working. And it really does come down to learning this type of really simple automated framework. And so I started the mentorship program so that I could teach that to people, and also so that I could offer help and encouragement in other areas that you might be struggling with. So the group is open for writers at all levels, whether you are working on a book, whether you're just starting one, whether you're already published and you're trying to figure out the marketing. There's not a lot of people, so there is a lot of one-on-one interaction. The group basically consists of a private Facebook group where you can ask any question you might have, and I am in the comments every day answering questions. I often do video teachings, or I create resources like the 8 Steps PDF And I see there's a question from Brian. Brian, the PDF is linked in the comments for this video, so just scroll up. And also, I'm going to put the link in the video description when I'm done, so if you can't find it, just check back here in a little bit. And Sarah Ann says, thank you. I found you via Facebook ad about 18 months ago or so. You've been such a blessing to me as a writer. Thank you. You've encouraged me and introduced me to tools that feel very doable to get my work out there, something I didn't know was possible. Awesome. So that's exactly why I want to do trainings like this. That is exactly why I started the Writer Mentorship Program. So I want to give you the opportunity to join that program if you want to. It is very affordable. The cost is $15 a week. You can choose how long you stay in, or if you need to come in and out, that's okay too. I'm going to just pull up the link so that I can put that in the comments as well. Give me 1 second here. Writer Mentorship Program. Oops, wrong link. There it is. Okay. So I've just added the link to the Writer Mentorship Program into the comments. If you want to go and check it out, there's more detail about it at that site, and/or you can sign up and get started today. If you get into the group with a question today, I will answer it this evening or tomorrow. I'm in there every single day, not always Saturdays and Sundays, but every other day. I also do a video training every week, and you also get access to all of the trainings I've done so far. So there are 20 of them, plus a few extras, walking you through various tech steps, showing you exactly how to do things, giving advice on everything from how to make time for writing, how to handle characterization and stuff like that in your writing, to how to market effectively, to how to build a whole business out of your writing. So there is a lot of resources for you in the group, and I would really love it if you wanted to join, if you wanted to jump in and become part of this community. So one thing that I have found really is significant is that we don't have to do things alone. It was when I really opened myself up to learning from other people who had done things before me that I was able to go from being the writer with 20 manuscripts collecting dust to being a writer who actually can reach people and build relationships with people and help people. So if you would like to be in the position that I'm in, and I mean, I have a long way to go yet, but if you would like to get from where you are to where I am, I would love to help you along the way. So please check out that link. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me or to leave them in the comments to this video, and I will come back and check them. So speaking of questions, Kristen's question about payment methods. Kristen, I usually ask people to send me a check because I didn't have to pay as much in fees for that, but these days I usually use PayPal for editing or copywriting. It's very fast, it's very simple, and pretty much anyone can use it. They don't have to even have a PayPal account. So if you're just needing a way to accept payments, that's what I would recommend. And yeah, I did editing. I still do a little bit of editing, and I did some copywriting, and I do more of that for years. Brian, one comment that I have found as a Christian writer is that much Christian fiction seems to be geared toward evangelism, but few writers address the what now of the Christian life. Oh, I love that, Brian. That is, yes, you just said that really, really well. I've said for years that one of my frustrations is that I feel like in church we focus so much on getting people off of the start line that we don't help them actually run the race. And if they're way out in the middle trying to run the race somewhere, there isn't a lot to help them to actually make disciples, which is what you're saying. So you said, what are your thoughts on books geared toward discipling through fiction? Do it. Do it. I would say that a lot of my fiction is geared toward that kind of thing. I'm really trying to help people understand better how their faith can and should impact their life, and how principles like in the oneness cycle, for example, principles like forgiveness, like prayer, like justice, all of that stuff, how that all impacts our lives. And that series is highly allegorical and a little bit controversial, but I really am trying to make disciples through fiction. And Derek says hello. Hey Derek, good to see you here. And Kristen, you are very welcome. All right, so we are still open for questions. I am going to have to hop off probably within the next 15 minutes. And I don't want to drag this out too long if there aren't a lot of questions, because you don't need to sit here watching me and for hours. But thank you all who came out today. Thank you for sitting with me through this program. I hope that you are going to check out the 8 Steps PDF. I hope that you're going to check out the mentorship program. And it really and truly, I would love to see you in there. I would love to have you as part of that community. And I would love to be able to walk alongside you as you are exploring your own calling as a writer. Again, the cost is just $15 a week, and you can call it how long you want to stay in the group, or if you need to jump in and out. And my dad says, well done. Thanks, Dad. This has been fun. Every time I do a Facebook Live, I say I should do Facebook Lives more often, but I find them a little difficult to schedule into my life. So thank you all for making this time to be with me. And I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because I don't see any more questions coming in. Again, thanks for being here this afternoon. I will send out the replay to this video, and I will get all of the links into the video description to make them easier to find as soon as we're done. And Brian, you're so welcome. And thank you for the kind words. I'm really glad that you enjoy what I do. It means a lot to me that people do. You're welcome, and you're welcome, Renee and Kit and Kelly. It's been great to spend all this time with you. Okay, I'm going to sign off and stop umming and erring, and I'll see you all around. Bye.